Hi everyone, welcome back to the Programming Fields. I'm Umesh Rana and I'm super excited to see you again in episode 2 because today we are officially starting hands-on with our React 19 plus Laravel REST API Masterclass. In the last episode, we planned the entire roadmap from basics to full stack integration, and today we will actually set up our React 19 development environment. And in this entire series, we will use Bun, a lightning-fast alternative to Node.js runtime, to create our React project. Then we will understand the folder structure of React and prepare it for the upcoming episodes. So by the end of this video, you will have a fully running React 19 project optimized and ready to start building your components. But before we dive into setup, let's talk quickly about the environment we will use. So traditionally, React projects run on Node.js, which provides the JavaScript runtime and uses npm or yarn to install dependencies and run scripts. That is how most of the world still does it, and it is perfectly fine. But there is a new modern tool called Bun, which takes all of that, the runtime, the package manager, and the bundler, and this combines them into one super fast system. So why are we using Bun? Because it is incredibly fast and this installs dependencies up to 20 times faster than npm. And this compiles the applications faster too. And the best part, it is fully compatible. So if you have used npm before, the commands are almost identical in Bun. So nothing to worry about this. If you want, you can still use node npm and follow along. I will mention both commands wherever needed. So in short, we are not replacing node. Instead, we are just upgrading our workflow for speed. So I'm on official website of Bun. This is bun.com. Okay. From here, you can read out this documentation. So this is a fast, incrementally adaptable, all-in-one JavaScript, TypeScript and JSX toolkit. And currently we have this 1.3.2. So we can install this latest version from here. We have this installation command. If you are on Windows, you will have to install it using this PowerShell. But already if you have Node installed, you can install the Bun additionally by using this npm install command. And if you are a Mac user, you can install using Homebrew. So I'm on Mac system and I will be using Homebrew to install Bun. So firstly, we'll have to just install this repository. So I will copy this and I will switch back to the terminal. And here I will just duplicate this terminal tab. I will navigate to the home and then I will paste that command. This is brew tab o1sh/bun. Okay. And this is adding the repository. So this will take a couple of seconds. Let's wait until this finishes. Okay, this is done. Now in the next step, we will have to install using brew install bun. So let's copy this command and let's paste it here. Let's hit enter. And yes, this is installing Bun. Now next we need a code editor where we will write the code for creating React application. So you can use any code editor like VS Code, Sublime, Atom, or even AI based editor like Cursor or Cloud AI. Okay. So that totally depends on you. I have already installed VS Code editor. So I will be using that in this series. Okay. Now in the next step, I will jump to the official documentation of React so that we will install React latest version as 19. So here I'm on official website of this react.dev. And here we have this Learn React. This is library for web and native user interface, right? I will just click on Learn React. Now inside this, here we have this installation step. Let's click on this installation tab. And the first one is creating a React application. Now here it is clearly mentioned, if you want to build a new app or website with React, this recommend starting with a framework, because React has released some frameworks as well. Okay. So I will come to this part later. Firstly, we'll have to install React.js. So we want to learn the basics of React application first. So I will jump to this build a React app from scratch. I will click on this. And here, if you'll scroll down, here we have this step 1 as install a build tool. So the first step is to install a build tool like Vite, Parcel or RS build. So these build tools will provide features to package and run source code. Here we have this command to install React using Vite. This is a build tool. Okay. If you want, you can check out the official documentation of Vite as well. Let's navigate on this. Here the official documentation of Vite. If you'll scroll down, this is the fast bundling tool. Okay. So you can check out this documentation. Now let's jump back to this React documentation. And here I will just install React using Vite. So previously React was using create React app, and through that we were creating the React application. But that is deprecated now. Now in the modern way, this allows us to create React app using a build tool like Vite, Parcel or RS build. So in this series, we will be using Vite. So let's copy this command and I will jump to the terminal and I will jump to the project folder where I will keep this React installation. Okay. And I will paste that command here. Now in this command, we have npm create Vite latest, and this my app is the application name. And further we have -- template, and in this we have React TS, that is TypeScript. The first thing, we are going to use Bun instead of npm. So we have to replace npm from Bun. So let's change this to Bun. And in the template, I don't want to go with this TypeScript as of now, because this is our first project that we are going to create using React, right? So we will be going through the JavaScript, that is JSX only, and later we will come back to this TS, that is TypeScript. So I will just remove this -ts. Okay. So this Bun create Vite will tells Bun to create a project using Vite. So Vite is a super fast bundler that we already discussed. So here this latest will install latest version of React. Next we have this my-app, which is application name. Here we can specify any name, just like I will set React 19 Laravel. Next we have this template React. So this template React will tell Vite to scaffold a React application. If you are confused about this, let's remove this template React from here. Okay. So we have the command now Bun create Vite latest, and we have given the application name. We have not specified whether this is going to be a React, JavaScript or any other project. Now let's try to hit enter. And here this has prompted select a framework for this project. We have the options like vanilla, which is JavaScript, Vue, React, Preact, Lit, Svelte, Solid, Quick, Angular, Marco and others. Okay. So even if you have not specified the template while creating the project, this will ask here in the prompt. So we will select React from here. So I have selected and I will go ahead with this React. Now next, this prompted select a variant. We have the variant like TypeScript, TypeScript plus React compiler. Next we have TypeScript plus SWC. So this SWC stands for Speedy Web Compiler. Okay. We will discuss on this later. Next we have JavaScript. Further we have JavaScript plus React compiler. And another we have JavaScript plus SWC. Again, this is a speedy web compiler. We have React Router version 7, 10 stack router, Redwood SDK and RSC. So in this example, we are going to install JavaScript, this one. All right. So let's select JavaScript and let's go ahead with React JSX. So next it prompted use roll down Vite. This has options as yes or no. So this means if you want to explicitly enable roll up a specific features or stick with Vite default. Okay. So by default, I will go with no. This will use default rollup configuration without extra customization. So let's go ahead with no. And this said install with Bun and start now. Let's go ahead with yes. And this is adding a scaffolding. Okay. Now let's wait for a moment. And yes, the project has been installed and started running that. Here, this has returned one local URL as HTTP localhost, and this has given a port as 5173, and this port has specified by Vite because we have created the React application using Vite build tool, right? So let's try to access this URL in the browser. So I'll copy this and I will jump to the browser. And here in the new tab, I will access this localhost port 5173. And yes, here we have this React application running. This is the combination of Vite plus React. And by default, this has given this counter application. Here we have count. If we'll click on this, this is incrementing the counter. Okay, so our application setup is done. Now in the next step, we will explore the project folder. So I will jump to the terminal and I will open this project folder in the code editor. Okay. So I will jump to that project folder. So we have documents, YouTube, and inside this we have the project as React 19 Laravel. Now I will open this in the VS Code editor. So the project has been opened here in the code editor. Now let me zoom and highlight to this project folder. So here in the root of this project folder, we have this node modules folder. So this node modules folder will contain all the dependency of the application. So in order to check the dependencies, firstly I will start from package.json. Inside this, we have all the available dependencies which is useful for running this React application. Here we have dependencies in which we have React 19.1.1 version installed and the same for React DOM. In this package.json, this will contain all the information about this project. Here we have this name of this application, which is folder name basically React 19-Laravel. This is a private application. And regarding this type, we have this type as module. So we have two types like module and common.js. If we'll select module, this will use all the syntax of ES6 JavaScript. Okay. But if you go with common.js, that will support the traditional import and export functionality. And there you will have to use require for importing the file or any package. So in this React 19 series, we will follow the latest modern approach. That's why we will be going with this module type. And we will be using all the syntax of ECMAScript 6 and that later version. Further, we have this dev dependencies here as ESLint that is coming by default with React installation. Next, we have this Vite version as 7.1.7. So this package.json will keep track of all the libraries and tools that your application will use. Also, this will contain scripts to start and build or preview your application. Here we have this script as dev, build, lint and preview. So whenever you will install a new package, it will automatically added here in this dependencies object. So anyone else can replicate the project setup easily. Now next we have this Vite config.js. So this Vite config.js is dev and build configuration. Vite is our fast bundler, and this file tells it how to bundle and serve the application. Here we can define shortcuts for imports, configure plugins, or set up a proxy to connect with our Laravel REST API. This file is critical when we move towards real-world development because it controls how our application interacts with other services. Now next I will jump to this index.html. So this index.html is a single HTML file in the React application. We have this HTML5 syntax. We have this body element. Inside this we have one div having ID as root. Next we have this script added as type module, and this is imported main.jsx. And this main.jsx is coming from src, which is source folder. Now when we have checked our React application in the browser, we have seen this Vite plus React text, and this counter functionality is rendering, right? So that is rendering here in this div ID root itself. Now let's go ahead inside this src main.jsx. So inside this src, we have these all files and folders. So this src or source folder is the heart of your React application. This is where all your React code will live. Every page, every reusable component, all hooks, context providers, and API calls will go inside here. And you can think of it as the engine room of your application. Without this folder, nothing will run. Later, we will create folders like components, pages, hooks, context, and services inside source folder to keep our code organized. Now inside src, we have assets folder. Inside this assets, we can keep all the assets like icons, any additional CSS or something. Further, we have app.css. So this app.css file has some basic CSS added, which is used in rendering this app component. And this is the component specific CSS. That means we have app.jsx default component, and this is using that app.css inside this app.jsx component. Here we have the syntax as app.jsx because while creating the React application, we have selected JavaScript. In case if you will select TypeScript, the syntax will be changed as app.tsx. Now let's go inside this app.jsx component basically. So this app.jsx is basically the main container. Here this is the root component of this React application. It is where the main layout lives. For example, headers, footers, or routing between pages. You can also wrap your application with context provider here, like authentication or theme that we will see later. So essentially everything visible on the screen starts inside app.jsx component. So now let's check from where this Vite plus React and this counter functionality is coming. So inside this app.jsx, firstly, this has imported useState, which is basically a hook provided by React. Next, we have this React logo has been imported from assets folder. So when we expanded this assets folder, we saw one React SVG icon is there that is imported here. And this React logo is rendering here in this application, right? Also, we have this Vite logo. So these two logos are rendering here. This is Vite and this is React logo. Now next, this has imported app.css. So that we already saw here, this app.css. Some basic CSS have been written here in order to style this app component. Now next, we have this function app. This is a basic JavaScript function. And in React, we can call it as a component. So this component is nothing just like a basic JavaScript function. Now inside this function, this has added state, okay, and from here this is incrementing this state. Now further we have this return statement. So everything which is rendering on the browser is returning from this return statement. So we have this Vite logo, we have this React logo, and further we have this h1 that is heading, and this is rendering Vite plus React text. Now next we have one button, and that is incrementing the count, and this count is reflecting here by incrementing that, right? And finally this is exporting this component from here so that this component can be rendered outside. So this component is imported in the main.jsx. Now this main.jsx is a component, and this is basically the entry point of this React application. This is the file where React connects with the browser. And this tells React mount the application component here in the DOM, that is document object model. And you can think of it as a bridge between your code and the browser. And without this main.jsx, nothing shows up on the screen. So now let's understand this main.jsx. Here we have this React strict mode imported. Further we have this create root. So this create root is basically imported from React DOM client, that is creating a root element in the JavaScript DOM. And if you have noticed here, this is JavaScript syntax document.getElement by ID. This is targeting one element having ID as root, and this root is basically added inside index.html. We have one div ID as root, right? So from this main.jsx, this is rendering all the element in this div having ID root. So this is basically creating the root element in the DOM, and in that DOM, this is rendering app component. I hope this is cleared now. So understanding the folder structure early makes you confident about where things belong, and which is crucial as our project grows, okay? Now let's try customizing here in this app component. So everything which is rendering in the browser is coming from this app component. So now let me collapse this sidebar, and here I will just remove everything from this component. Here we need return only. So from this return statement, we will be returning JSX, which is basically HTML inside JavaScript. Okay. So I can write HTML here just like h1. Hey, this is app component. Now we have removed other code. So we don't need these all files like logo and also this state, right? This is done. Also, you can remove this app CSS. This is not needed now. This is a simple JavaScript function. And from here, we are returning one h1 with this text, and this component has exported from here so that we can call this component outside this current component. So this component has been rendered here in this main.jsx, right? Now if we'll come to the browser, and yes, here this is rendering that text. This is app component, right? Still this is taking some CSS. So that CSS is coming from this index.css. If we'll check out, there we have some CSS added, right? So we can comment this CSS. This is not needed. Okay, now if we'll check out, yes, HTML text that is rendering from this app component. So that is your complete React 19 setup powered by Bun, and this is running faster than ever. We now have a strong foundation ready for building components, pages, and eventually integrating Laravel APIs. In the next episode, we will dive deep into how React 19 actually works under the hood, understanding JSX, components, and the render flow, so you know what is really happening when you write React code. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment telling me you have successfully set up your environment. So once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.